Hoi iedereen en welkom bij de Wrap-Up Pajama Party podcast. In this podcast, I will be discussing all the books I read the month before, and we're just gonna chill in our pajamas because that is a great way to wrap up a month, in my opinion. So, if you haven't already, please change into your pajamas, change into something cozy, grab yourself a drink, and let's discuss the books I read in the month of December. So, the first book I read in December was These Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. This is the second book in the series, the first one being These Hollow Vows, and I think a lot of you have read these books, but I actually had no interest in reading them. But because of the book club I'm in, they chose the first book, and after I read the first book, I really liked it. So I decided to pick up the second book, and this was all actually in November. But I finished the second book in on the 1st of December. So yeah, it counts for this wrap up. But yeah, it's been a while since I read it, but I really liked it. It was just really a surprise. I had no clue what the books were about, so it was just a very nice surprise, and I gave it 5 stars. I even liked it more than the first one, so that was very interesting. So yeah, that was the first book I read in December. So now the second book I read in December, and I can't believe that I didn't give it 5 stars, and that is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Um, I was really looking forward to this book, and I still really liked it, but it just didn't give me that 5 star feel, and that's why I didn't give it 5 stars, which makes absolutely a lot of sense. But in this book, you follow Atlas and Lily, and yeah, it's just a story after it ends with us. For people who don't know, this is actually kind of the sequel. Um, so a lot of people were looking forward to this book, and I know a lot of people really loved it. I really liked it, but it just I don't. The thing is, I don't think Colleen Hoover should write sequels. I think Colleen Hoover is very good at writing a great story in just one book that you can read in like 4 hours. It is very emotionally draining, but I just don't think those books are great for a follow up. That is just not, no. That's my opinion. Please, if you have a different opinion, please let me know. I would like to discuss it. But it's just her writing. It doesn't make sense to make sequels and stuff like that. It's the writing isn't made for that, and probably none of you are get what I'm saying, but it is a very strong feeling I have. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, which I think I will only be uploading this to YouTube, sometimes I'm looking to the right and for you to the left, or is it your right? I don't know. But that is because I'm filming with a different microphone, and this microphone is not hooked up to my camera. It is hooked up to my computer, who is standing on the right with an software program that records it. So sometimes I have to check if it's still doing what I want it to do, because otherwise I would be here sitting and talking for hours and nothing would be recorded, and then I have to do it all over again. So that's the reason why. But that was the second book I read in December. Then we're going to the third book, and that is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. I've uploaded a reading vlog of this book, and to be honest, I'm really proud of that reading vlog. I think it looks really good. So if you haven't, please go check it out. I think it's called what is it called? This was the perfect the perfect book to read in the woods. I think that's what it's called. It was just, I read it in the perfect place you could read this book, and it follows Sally after she marries Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas, and she follows all the different holiday towns. She has to save everyone. I just really like this one. I gave it 5 stars, and it was just amazing. I can see this being a book that I read every year. I actually already want to reread it. It was just so magical to read and so easy, and it felt so calming to read that. And I think if I'm gonna reread this, I will just think back of the amazing time I had in the woods while reading this. So that's just amazing. And I would love to know if you read this one and what you think of it. And that is for actually all the books I talk about. I just want to know: are you going to read them, or have you read them? Because then we can discuss it, and that's really interesting to me. So yeah, now we're going to the, what is it? The fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the fourth book I read in December, and this book was such a surprise to me. But it is Seeds and Storm by Lee Bardugo. I read Shadow and Bone somewhere in the beginning of last year, and I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. I'm not sure, but I think something like 4 stars. And I liked it, and it was because of the show that was coming out. And actually, the only reason I picked this one up, Siege and Storm, was because there is supposed to come a second season of the Netflix show. And I was like, yeah, I do want to read the book before I watch that. So I had little to no expectation reading this, and let me say, it was amazing. And the book was very great, but also the experience I had while reading it was just amazing. And an experience while reading it can change so much about your rating of the book. So I know if I read it in other circumstances, maybe I wouldn't have given it 5 stars, but it was just amazing, and I did it. I read this book every morning for like, I think 2 weeks before Christmas. I would wake up, I would make myself a nice drink, I would sit on the couch with my lovely blanket, and I would just read it with the Christmas lights on. It was just amazing. It was really amazing. It was really magical, and it gave me all the vibes I wanted. And I'm so happy that I read this book, and it was just one of my favorite books, which is crazy to me because I never expected that. So that's awesome. And now I can't wait to read Ruin and Rising. But someone commented on a video, I think, of my best books of 2022, that the second one was also their favorite, but the third one wasn't as great. So yeah, my expectations have been lowered, which most of the time is a good thing, because almost every time you go into a book with high expectations, it just lets you down. Except for The Stolen Air, actually. I read The Stolen Air. It is also a vlog I have on YouTube, so you can check that out if you want to. But that was one of my most anticipated reads. And I know I haven't made a video about my most anticipated reads. And I don't think I'm gonna do that. The problem is with January, there are so many video ideas you can do in January. It's just insane. But I just can't make like 20 videos now. That's yeah, that's there's something I can do. So I had to choose, and I did want to do my best books of 2022 and some other videos. I don't know what. Maybe, I don't know, never say never. So maybe there will be a most anticipated reads, but I just don't like that I already read one of those But that's just what it is. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna. I'll have. I'll look into it if I can do it. But maybe for next year I will just do. A lot of people do like in the month of December that they upload a crazy amount of videos. Maybe I'll just do that in January. I don't know. I love it when people do that, like Vlogmas and stuff like that. But there are so many people who do that it's it's so difficult to watch all those videos. I tried, but now I've just given up. There are just I it's insane how many videos there are. And also there was something Meredith from Reading with Merp said that she expected to have more views on those videos and stuff like that. And I had the exact same thing with with my 13 days of Halloween. You think you upload so much and that the algorithm or something will push you out and you will get crazy amount of views. But the truth is, at least that's what I experienced with my 13 days of Halloween. Your everyone gets so much content of you that they just can't watch it all. So actually, your content has less views than when you normally schedule your videos. Um, that was something that I really experienced, and I totally get it. I mean, especially when videos are like 30 minutes long. I know that I can't expect of every subscriber to watch every video, but that was something that I didn't yeah, that I didn't know would happen, and it did. But I've gone off track. I have no clue how I ended up here. Oh, by because of the most anticipated releases, and I have no clue why I got there, but that's why I have this podcast, so I can talk to you for hours and hours. But I'm not, I'm not gonna do that. I'll try to keep these podcasts around 30 minutes. And it's just a space where I can talk about all the books I read, but also about different things. And that is something I wanted. And also something I'm absolutely going to do is invite guests over on my podcast, because I just think that's very interesting. But because of the people in my life that don't read a lot, I want to give them a heads up so they can maybe start reading some books for that month, so they have something to talk about with me. But I think that would be very awesome, and please let me know if you think that's awesome as well. But yeah, let's circle back to Seeds and Storm. It was just an amazing read. I loved it so much, and yeah, can't wait for the what is for the season 2 to come out. I really loved season 1. The only issue I have with okay, I can tell that because that's a spoiler. But let's just say I love morally grey characters. If you know, you know. So now we're already down to the last book I read in December, and this book was just incredible, amazing. Showstopper. It was amazing. I gave it 5 stars, and that is Their Vicious Darling by Nikki St. Crow. This is the third book in the Vicious Lost Boys series. It is a Peter Pan reverse harem retelling, and it is just so amazing. A lot of people read the first book and didn't continue. And I get that, because the first book is mostly smut and almost no plot. But I do think with every book that comes out, there is more plot. And also the books get a lot, not a lot, but there are more pages with every book that comes. And now, especially in this book, I think the smut to plot ratio was really good. I mean, you're reading a reverse harem Peter Pan retelling, so you have to keep that in mind. But the story was actually really interesting, I thought. So, yeah, I just highly suggest everyone who likes Peter Pan and also likes reverse harem and smut to read this book, because I'm sure you're going to love it. It's just amazing. So yeah. So those were all the 5 books I read in the month of December. Yeah, it was, like I said in the beginning, it was not a great reading month, not at all. But still, happy that I got to read some books. It is now, what is it? It's 14 January. And now I've actually already read 3 books. So, I think in next month's wrap up Pajama Party podcast, there will be more books to talk about. And maybe there even be a guest. But you'll just have to subscribe to my channel to figure that out. So, yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I thought it went really great. I had an amazing time. And thank you so much for listening. Doei!